Hey guys, welcome back to the MCU HQ, and this is my non-spoiler review for Spider-Man Far From Home, the final film of the Infinity Saga, the final film of MCU Phase 3, and not only the last MCU film of this year, but also the last Marvel film overall of this year that will be theatrically released. Anyway, this is my non-spoiler review. If you have not seen the movie yet, I know I'm a day late to do this, but this is the non-spoiler, and then the spoiler one will be up after this. So, if you have not seen the movie, watch this one, go watch the movie, and then come back and watch my spoiler review. Anyway, with all that said, let's get into the review. So, it's going to be very hard to talk about this movie because a lot like Endgame, it's easy to spoil stuff for this movie. So I'm going to try my best. It's going to be very vague, and I'm sorry if it comes across as something like, this was cool because it just was. So I'm going to try to be as thorough as I can, but also as not spoilery as I can. So anyway, let's start with some of my huge positives, and that is I want to start with Mysterio. Everything I thought with Mysterio was great. Jake Gyllenhaal's acting with him was amazing, and I even said in one of my videos that he was my favorite character of the movie just from what I had seen. And I still stand by that point. I really liked everything they did with Mysterio. It was a cool take on the character. And yeah, I definitely think coming out of the movie, his scenes were really some of the key takeaways. Also, Peter and MJ's relationship, I liked it a lot in this film. They did it really well, although there are a couple things with it that I find confusing, which I want to touch on in the spoiler review so I don't accidentally give something away. So I'm not going to get into that here, but I will later. Side characters in this movie, we get a ton. We got Nick Fury, Maria Hill, the teacher, I can't remember his name. We get Ned, Betty Brant, J.B. Smooth's character, who, by the way, was hilarious in every scene he was in. I found him really funny. There's really only one character in the movie I didn't like, and that was this one kid who's traveling with them on their trip, and he was basically serving as like a rival to Peter, and I didn't like anything about him. He was basically just a jerk for the sake of being a jerk. So, also Flash is in the movie. I liked Flash more in this one than I did in the last one. He seemed like he had a lot more of a character to him, and he was fun to watch in this one, except this one scene with him at the end that I actually... that was a rough scene to get through. But anyway, there are moments in this movie that are so chill-inducing. Not the level of Endgame. We're not talking portals, cap-wielding Mjolnir, I am Iron Man. I'm not talking that level, but there are definitely things in this movie where I went to the edge of my seat and I was like this. And the seat was reclined too. I didn't lift the seat up. I just sat up and was on the end of it. There were a couple moments in the movie like that. One particularly near the end of the third act that I was gonna cheer for, but I didn't. And I'm glad no one else cheered. But it was really cool, and like Spidey's doing these combos and stuff, and he lands. And he does it quite a lot. It's very nice. The way that the action is filmed. There's a lot of action in this movie, and also the camera, it's a lot more single take. There's not a lot of jump cuts. There are a lot of scenes where the camera is like tracking Spider-Man's movements, and we're seeing him like web sling up bridges and the camera's moving with him, and it feels like you're there. It feels really nice. I don't want to use this term because it's a meme, but it feels like Spider-Man. So that was really cool. Also, another positive of this movie was that they really addressed the ramifications of Endgame and what happened when everyone comes back. And it does a very good job of feeling like a direct continuation of Endgame, which now I can see where Kevin Feige's coming from, where he says Infinity War, Endgame, and Far From Home are really part of like one storyline. They definitely did that. And Tony Stark has a presence in this movie. Obviously, he's not in the movie because he's, dead. But he has a presence in this movie, and that provides something for Peter. Kind of a motivation for him. You've seen in the trailers of the world needs the next Iron Man. That's basically what we have. That's basically a subplot that we have for Peter in this movie, and I really like that plot line. Also, what's nice is it does give Peter a chance to step into his own, really. It definitely feels like by the end of this movie, he feels more like his own thing. Not someone who's trying to impress Iron Man. He really feels like someone who is... He knows who he wants to be as a hero. And I like that they went that route, because now for future Spider-Man movies, we're able to get that. The new suits in this movie, I loved both of them. They're awesome. And the post-credit scenes. I'm going to be as vague as I can with the post-credit scenes here. And I'm going to elaborate them on spoilers. I might actually make a whole nother video about it, depending on how long it goes. But the first post-credit scene, my reaction, it was a long post-credit scene, so I'm going to abridge my reaction to a few seconds. It was something like this. That's cool. Whoa. Oh, dude. Oh, my God. Oh. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. That was my reaction to the first post-credit scene. And the second one was, Marvel likes to do this, where their second post-credit scene is a lot more jokey. Now, this was also jokey, but it's definitely important to stay for it. This is not like Ant-Man and the Wasp. You don't want to skip this post-credit scene. You should definitely stay for it. If you want, I would. The credits aren't painfully long. I'd say they're maybe 7 minutes at the most. Not like Endgame's credits, which are like 13 or something. But yeah, definitely stay for those. Now, is this the best Spider-Man movie? No. It is not the best Spider-Man movie. I do think it's better than Homecoming, just for the reason that it feels like Homecoming was a Spider-Man movie. Definitely, it feels like it. But, Far From Home, just, we don't have Iron Man there. We have Spider-Man being on his own, and we get an amazing villain. For that reason, I say it's better than Homecoming. But I don't think it's better than Into the Spider-Verse, and I definitely don't think it's better than Spider-Man 2. So if I had to say, it's probably the third best Spider-Man movie we've had. Also, it drags at some points. When I say drag, I don't like... It doesn't like drag like you're like, oh, this is boring. It just hits this point where you're like, okay, we can move on with the plot a bit. It's a 2-hour movie. I'd say the first 45 minutes, maybe, let's not say 45, let's say like 35 minutes. The first 35 are amazing, and then the last hour is amazing, and then there's like 20-30 minutes in between where I'm like, okay, we can speed this up a little bit, we can get things moving. And that's really my only negative. It was just a little slow, and then there was, that one character who I hated the entire time. It was awful. And also, there's really not a lot of Ned in this movie. If you're a Ned fan, you're going to be disappointed, because this movie definitely reduces the amount of Ned that we had in Homecoming. But the scenes, he's in a lot of scenes, but he doesn't steal all the scenes. And in the scenes he steals, oh my god, they're hilarious, and I was laughing out loud in the theater. Anyway, with all that said, I'm going to give Spider-Man Far From Home an A-. So guys, that's it. The last MCU movie, the last Marvel movie of the year, and the final film of the Infinity Saga. The MCU definitely feels like it has reached a sense of completion until next year when we get Black Widow. Anyway, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Non-spoiler thoughts. No spoilers in this video. I will go through and delete all the comments. Yeah, so leave your non-spoiler thoughts down below. Leave a like on this video, subscribe, and click on the bell icon to receive all notifications from the MCHQ. That's going to be it. Have a great day, guys.